What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hope all is well with every single one of you guys. I just wanted to have a conversation where I explore together with you the subconscious mind, the matrix that we are plugged into, the system that we are indirectly or directly part of that is creating a lot of suffering, a lot of dissatisfaction within this human experience. So I was not sure how I was going to do this video or even start a conversation where interest sparks within you, where you wanted to hear me out. So I didn't know what to do. So I just thought, you know what? I may not know exactly how to spark this conversation or go about sharing what's within my mind and what I have realized within this human experience, but I have to start somewhere. So here I am creating a video in Torrance Beach in my car with you guys, with the intention of sharing all information that I have gained within my human experience that will hopefully inspire you to live a purposeful life, at the least, to get away from selfish prayer, to start or to inspire to be able to cultivate love, kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, equanimity, wisdom as such. And then at the highest point of view, for you to be able to figure out a system where you could unplug from this matrix and be one with all that is, be one with the universe, or even if you go higher, the complete destruction of ego. When I say unplug from the matrix, I'm not talking about like suicide or anything like that, you know. I'm talking about like the spiritual realm. In life, we never know like when we have to go, like literally, like this could be my last moments here on earth. And that's the reality. That's the reality of life. You don't know when you have to go leave earth. We're not in control over that. We're not in control of our body. We're not in control really even our mind, because our mind thinks like if we were really in control, we could say, oh, I don't want to get old. I don't want to get sick. You know? Oh, I don't want to think about this person that caused me a great deal of suffering. And then, you know, control your mind that way. But we're not able to. You know what I mean? So, yeah. There's so much, I don't know where to start, man. I have no idea where to start, but I want to keep talking because it kind of fires up my conversation mode, you know? And, you know, there's no other person here in this car. So asking me questions or like stuff like that, it's just me on my own trying to figure out like, man, how can I have a conversation with the phone or with the world where I could share what I have gained throughout my human experience and understanding the Four Noble Truths, dependent origination, all that stuff. Like, how can I really like make a positive impact that really like impacts you in a positive way, you know? Like, how can this video, how can the phones that we use, you know, like how can this video make sense to you? That's where I'm at, because like different people, we're so unique. We're so unique. Every single one of you that's watching this video and everybody else that exists in this entire universe. Like, we're so unique in creation. Like, sometimes it's really hard to like have a conversation just like generally, you know what I mean? Like, how can you have a general conversation with the world when we are so unique as human beings, you know, as divine beings, as spiritual beings, whatever you want to call it? Like, how can we have a conversation through video that could possibly, you know, where I'm touching you, your spirit, in a way that this conversation makes sense? You know, it's fucking tough. So, but I'm just gonna keep talking and record this, because within this recording, you know, I may say things that might be super valuable to someone, you know, and I might be able to make some shorts or some segments of this video later where it makes so much sense to someone. I don't know who, even if it's just one person, that out of this video have a realization of the reality and the matrix that we are plugged in. That's all that matters to me, to be honest. Like, if one of you guys who's watching this video realize something out of it, get something out of it that is positive, where you are now able to live a purposeful life, you are now able to breathe and live life with power and meaning, and make a difference in other people's lives and inspire others to be more loving, be more kind, be more compassionate, and, you know, cultivate that appreciative joy, equanimity, cultivating that wisdom. Man, what else can I ask for? And, you know, and if you're inspired to attain nibbana, or like be free, in other words, be free from all the suffering that exists within you, you know, within the world, whatnot, or your world, you know, because the world that we call the world is really within. We reflect what's within our mind to the creation. And there's so much of intricate details that I have to share with you guys about this entire creation. You know, this entire matrix, simulation, whatever you want to call it, this human experience. It's just like amazing. People say there's glitches in the matrix. There's no glitch in the matrix, man. It's perfectly made to the point that you are still in it. You're still talking. You're still here, man. You're still in the freaking matrix, plugged in. So, are you ready to be unplugged? I don't know if you are. Am I fully unplugged? I'm not. If I was fully unplugged, I won't be able to be here in this matrix, in this video, and speak to you guys this way. You feel me? Like, I was unplugged at a certain point, but I came back plugged in, ready to share this information with you, so you could take that with you and decide with your free will what you want to do. You know, end of the day, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay plugged into the matrix and the system and like this entire human experience and like freaking go through cycles of dissatisfaction and suffering? Is that what you want? Or do you want to like, maybe you want to stay plugged in and still know, like, man, what is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Maybe you want to know, like, bro, I want to know what you're thinking. Like, I want to know your thoughts, like, of this reality, you know? Like, maybe, you know, I don't know, man. Like, shit. It's because we all have our own, we all live in, even though we're all connected and we are experiencing this reality, we all experience the world that we are in contact with, this so-called reality. We all experience this world, this simulation, this matrix, whatever you want to call it. We all experience this within our own world. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't, if I take this water bottle, right, like, or a cup of water, you know, you're gonna see it a certain way, and I'm gonna see it a certain way. Somebody else is gonna see it a total different way. Like, I'm not just talking about in terms of the capacity of the eye. I'm talking about what you input from your eye and then what you make out of it. You know? And if there's million people that's looking at the same cup, if there's million people looking at the same cup, they're looking at the same cup in a million different ways. Million different possibilities. Million different worlds. So billions and billions of people over there, out there, you know, like so-called matrix, so-called life, so-called human experience, we all see reality within our own realm, within our own world. But the cool part is, if you go deep into the building blocks of the consciousness, which is the dependent origination, if you go deep into the building blocks of how the mind works, then you could come into the realization that, you know, even though we are experiencing this reality within our own realm, within our own world, the building blocks of how it works is the same. That's what's cool about it. So, like, if you go study dependent origination, you will come to realization that, like, man, we are constant creators. Within a blink of an eye, we create so many different waves of consciousness, you know, different frequencies, different vibrations of consciousness within a given moment of a blink of an eye. Like, maybe hundreds of millions of waves of consciousness come to be and pass. And it is not easy, you know, to express what I'm saying right now and for you to understand it, because not everybody could see this process. So, like, it's so perfectly done and happening, it's hard to see this process or even catch it. So that's why it's super hard for me to, like, come in a video where people's attention span is so low these days and try to capture a moment with you through a video and express to you, like, the entire creation, or even, like, building blocks of the freaking mind, and then help you or assist you if you want to, you know, come to that realization of how everything works. And when you see how everything works, you know, you may or may not decide to stay plugged in to this reality or to this world. You know, you may decide, like, you know what, I see this whole matrix, I see this whole simulation, and it's full of suffering. It's full of pain, stress, dissatisfaction, you know. I could go all day talking about dissatisfaction, how each one of us going through dissatisfaction every day. And I could go all day talking about how there's so many people in the world going through suffering. There's so many, not just human beings, animals going through suffering. The ways that divine beings experience suffering, stress, you know, dissatisfaction. And I could go through all day, you know, talking about how spiritual beings, you know, go through dissatisfaction, suffering, you know, pain, all sorts of things within each realm, you know, because this whole thing is like, you know, back in the day when we did like algebra or like what do you call it? Was that algebra? Yeah. Or calculus or whatnot. There's like a formula, right? And then there's brackets and there's another formula. And then you add a formula and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Formula within a formula within a formula. Or like a bucket within a bucket within a bucket. Or like those dolls where like you open up a doll, there's another doll inside. Then you open up that doll, there's another doll inside. And he keeps going. That's how this entire experience or entire simulation or entire freaking human experience or experience in general. You don't even have to call it human. You could call it animal experience for the animals. You could call it freaking divine experience for divine beings. You could call it spiritual experience for spiritual beings. All of these experiences, you know, it's like a full matrix, man. It's like, it's not just one thing that you could just draw it out or explain so easily, because this shit is like deep. Like, I'm gonna attempt to explain it. You know what I mean? When you zoom out and zoom out and zoom out and zoom out and zoom out your consciousness out of like yourself. So like we come to the view, there's a self. So like you experiencing your experience and you within you, you have created an identity view. You have created an identity view that, holy shit, I think, therefore I am, type of deal. You're like, I exist. There's me, myself, and I. And that stems from that kind of thinking, from that kind of identity view. It stems the selfish prayer, the selfishness, and all these different things. That's a whole nother conversation. But like, out of that, you know, out of that conversation, if you zoom out and zoom out and zoom out from the self view, or you zoom in and try to figure out like what's going on with myself, what's going on with this experience, and you just explore, you will start to break down what the mind is, and you will start to understand like how mind come into be, how mind come into existence, and how you experience life because you have this so-called consciousness or your mind. And that's the entire story, man. Like when you actually realize the difference between creation, when you actually realize the difference between reality, and how like the fucking mind is like, man, I don't even make sense right now. I'm probably not gonna even post this video because I'm still like trying to like come with the words to express this to you guys. And it's tough because my focus is being, you know, drawn out to people that's walking by, people that's coming by my car. I'm looking at the ocean, so beautiful, like the beach, the waves, the Palos Verdes mountain. So I'm being like distracted at the same time, but this is the fucking matrix, man. You need to be able to be in it, be with all the distractions, and still be able to communicate the truth, the universal truth to the people, the masses or whatnot, you know. So this video is an expression of myself practicing with you live. I mean, not really live, but you know, I'm not editing this video. like just really talking to you guys, you know, like about this thing. So let me get back into like what I'm trying to express to you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry if I wasted a lot of your time already. It's already 22 minutes and I still haven't been able to share what I wanted to share. You know, it's just coming out little by little, little by little, little by little. So if you zoom out and zoom out and zoom out, you realize there's two realms. There's two realms, okay? There's the realm of creation. There's a realm of creation where everything exists, where creators are constantly creating. Realm of all that is. Realm of all that is. That's here. That we're within it right now. We're talking and expressing these ideas. We're living this human experience, and we are within the realm of all that is. Realm of creation. Realm of everything. All the possibilities that you could ever think of. That's where we are. And we're even trying to figure out that realm in itself. But then there's the other side. If this is the realm of everything, on the total opposite of it is this realm of nothing. Realm of nothing. Like, it's hard to express it because it's truly nothing. Like, it's nothing. Or you could call it darkness, and you could call it light if you want to. Or you want to call it like however you want to call it. It's like there's the realm of nothing, there's the realm of everything. Realm of nothing, but this is all within the mind where you are still functioning within duality, right? There's good and evil, light and the dark, a realm of everything, a realm of nothing, however you wanted to put it. But even that in itself is within this whole matrix. Like, somebody could meditate, zoom out, and come to the realization, holy moly, where if you zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and you realize me, there's an identity view right here. If identity view is right here and you're creating your reality within the vibrations and frequency of identity view, but you zoom out and zoom out and zoom out and zoom out, and you're looking at you're vibrating now within the realm. You're vibrating now within the realm of the highest form of duality, where you're seeing the realm of nothing, realm of everything. Realm of nothing and realm of everything. And then you realize you're functioning within the realm of everything to create and all these things that you're doing in life. All these different billions of possibilities of existing within the realm of everything. Someone might spiritually grow, and then go to the realm of nothing. And then you're in the realm of nothing. You're not really there because it's nothing. Not even you, in a way, exist. But you're still kind of existing in the nothing, in the nothingness. You come back. It's like the yin and the yang, the darkness and the light. But there's a little hole of light in the hole of the hole of darkness. There's a circle of light. There's a circle of darkness in the hole of light. In the yin and the yang, and you kind of go in between these two realms. And that's what we do. That's what we do, man. That's what we have been doing for eons and eons and eons and eons. Experiencing the darkness, experiencing the light, experiencing the realm of nothing, experiencing the realm of everything. That's what we have been doing for so long. I mean, you are who you are. I mean, where were you before you were Nisala? My name is Nisala. So where was I before I was Nisala? I'm not always Nisala. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, they say. So if energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and it could only be transferred, the whoever you are that you call yourself, Mary, John, Shane, whatever your name is, like, then you identify yourself as that name, that person, that spirit, that way of being. Where were you before you came into existence with that particular name or that particular being? Or where were you before that? You were, like, maybe that's the beginning of Nisala for me, like, maybe that's when you were born, that was your beginning. But the energy and the vibration, came into existence as Nisala, as John, as Cheetah, as Sithira, like as Nico, whatever. It came into existence. Whatever your name is, you came into existence, and you're going through life, you're going through this human experience. But where were you before that? Just think about it. You could guess it. Like, some people say, I was in heaven, I was in hell, I was nowhere, I just was created. Like, there, you could have so many views. But in reality, what's the reality? Like, what's real? What's the truth? And that's the conversation we're having. Like, conversation of figuring out this universal truths. Universal truths that's just not, because what's truth? I could say, the truth is this, truth is that, but it becomes universal. Truth becomes universal when it resonates with everyone that we speaking to. It's not just true for me, it gotta be true for you. It gotta be true for the animals. It gotta be true for the divine beings. It gotta be true for the spiritual beings. That way, like, the truth is universal. And that's the kind of truth I want to share with you guys. So the first truth is, like, the truth that there's dissatisfaction in this whole existence. There's dissatisfaction in this whole creation. There's suffering, there's pain, there's stress that exists within this experience, So that's the truth. That's the universal truth. Even if, no matter where you are, like, nothing is permanent. Everything is changing. Everything is at constant change. And because of that, it might be one of the reasons why that we can't satisfy our mind. Because our mind keeps shifting. You know what I mean? Like, our mind keeps shifting into different realms, into different ways of thinking. And then, and we're not satisfied. What if we could, why can't we stay happy all the time? We're all after happiness. We all want to be happy. We work so hard. We do everything we do within this system that we are part of on earth. We are part of, to create some sort of happiness, so-called happiness, and happiness is very relative. Like, happiness to me might not be happiness to you, but there is, like, this general, ordinary happiness that we all understand and we all, like, share together. Like, being with the kids is happy, being with the wife is happy, like, having sex is happy, having great food is happy. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these ways we, as a ordinary, or like as a general public or general people, define happiness. But that could be so relative still. Somebody might say, oh fuck, like, I don't want to have sex, like, that's not me. Somebody who is like an asexual might be like, yeah, I'm not happy with sex. Like, that's not what makes me happy. Like, I'm happy with different things. So there's so many different ways we could look at this. Like, all these things, man. Like, it's not easy to like express everything, but I want to go back to the realm of darkness and light, because that is still in the world of duality. But if you want to totally unplug from the matrix, you need to see the building blocks of the mind, because mind creates this whole duality. Mind is what experiencing the two worlds. But when mind, if you could figure out a way within the matrix, within this experience that you're having, within this whole human thing, whole divine thing, whatever, wherever, I don't know, maybe divine beings are listening to this, maybe human beings are listening to this. Mainly, this is for the human beings, but like, I don't know, I've experienced and communicated with divine beings, spiritual beings, so like, they might be listening to this. Within your experience, whatever way of being that you are, this entire experience is due to your mind is at existence. When your mind is existing, because your mind is existing, you are able to channel that mind or consciousness through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body, and experience reality, whatever you call reality. You know what I mean? And then if you figure out dependent origination, or when you figure out this dependent origination process, and you realize and you see the works, you see the code behind the mind. When you start seeing the code behind the mind, mental formations, then there's gonna be a day where you have a choice, or like you decide, not really a choice, it's like a decision, where you may come to like, you know what, I'm gonna unplug, and things will fall into place, where based on your previous accumulation of positive or negative energy, like so-called karma, the whole governing law of the universe, however you want to put it, like, you will eventually come to the decision that, you know what, I've been here too long within these two realms. It's time for me to unplug and be one with whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, Allah, like, I'm going to be one with it. But what I mean is, when I say I want to be one with it, I'm not talking about an existence of a self or identity view. You will be extinct. The self view, the identity view will extinct. No more. Even like an existence in itself, no more existence. You get it? Like, we are having this conversation within the mental framework of existence. Even right now, deep inside, we have this belief: I exist, I am speaking, I am sharing my thoughts, I am listening to this guy talking. This is all within the realm of existence. Am I like speaking gibberish? We are in the realm of existence. There's existence, where there's a realm of existence, there's the realm of non-existence. But then you still experiencing existence and non-existence. You know what I mean? Like, you're there. But when you destroy your ego completely, and you no longer have an identity view, then you function within a realm where you're selfless, and you're in the limitless stages of unconditional kindness, love, compassion, appreciative joy, equanimity, wisdom. And you come into that focus where you could share that information with the rest of the people, or rest of the people or beings that are, coming to be within this realm of existence that is, experiencing a lot of stress, a lot of suffering, a lot of dissatisfaction. And you realize, when you break away from this identity view, when you finally break away from this identity view, you are more happier. You're more relaxed. You're more at peace. You're more with freedom. And you're only like few steps away from being one with all that is. All that. Let go and let God. Let go and let Allah. Let go and let Mary. Let go and let Jesus. Let go and let Krishna. Let go and let Vishnu, Ganapati, whatever you believe in. Even if you don't believe in anything, like once you see the building blocks of the mind, the dependent origination, and how the dependent origination originates mind to arise and pass away, you will see the bigger picture. These conversations that I'm having with myself on this video might be gems for someone, might be some shit for someone else. It might be the missing puzzle piece that you were looking for you to attain enlightenment and be free from all this suffering. My whole point of all this conversation is for you guys to be free. My intention of this conversation that I'm having with you here on this video, so you can be free from all suffering. I want you to be free from all the suffering, all the stress, all the freaking discontentness, dissatisfaction that exists. It do exist, doesn't it? Like it arises. It arises, it passes away. Same with happiness. It arises, it passes. Nothing stays constant. Everything is constantly changing. Everything is constantly at it's moving. Like the earth is always moving. We're going around the sun. We're rotating, like we are moving on itself, and our mind is constantly like being created and being destroyed, being created and being destroyed, and we don't see this process. Some of you might think I'm fucking crazy and I'm just speaking gibberish, but like, bro, I'm speaking as such because I have realized something out of this world. It's kind of like the allegory of the cave. If you Google allegory of the cave, you will see that, there's a group of people in a cave locked in all their life. All they know is what's the world that's within the cave, within what they see inside the cave, the fires, the shadows, or whatnot. Allegory of the cave, Google it. And one day, one person breaks away from the cave and go outside and see the light, see the flowers, see the birds, the butterflies. And then was like, wow, this is way better than what's going on in the cave. So that person comes back in wanting to share that with his or her family members, the world, and guess what? They're going to think he's fucking crazy because he's talking about something they never experienced in a realm that they never experienced, because you don't know what you don't know. That's the reality. You don't know what you don't know until somebody opened that realm for you and kind of shares with you something that you don't know. In Landmark, we learned, I learned, Landmark Worldwide, one of the coolest self-development platforms out there. I learned that there's what you know, right? There's what you know, and then there's what you know that you don't know, right? There's what you know, and there's stuff that you know that you don't know. Like, I don't know how to be a doctor. I don't know how to be an engineer, or I don't know how to be a plumber, let's say, right? But I know that I don't know how to be those things. But then there's stuff that I know. I know how to do love and kindness meditation. I know how to be a, purposeful human being or whatnot, like whatever. I know how to fix computers. I know how to do some marketing, whatever. So like, there's stuff that you don't know, there's stuff that you don't know, there's stuff that you know, and then there's a whole realm on this side, stuff that you really don't know that you don't know. You don't even know that you don't know that, until somebody points it out or find out and shows it to you. Or you figure it out on yourself, or you explore that on your own and you find out like, whoa, like, I didn't know all this shit. So I might be that person for you if the universe allows it, for you to have a realization about the human experience and the entire universe, universal truths and what's going on here on earth. Because that's the purpose of me being here on earth, is to uplift consciousness, not on my own, as a collective with you guys, and to share these universal truths with the world. And that's what I am doing right now. Even though my conversation and communication is not organized right now, it's just all over the place within that realm of conversating, I'm still sharing with you what I have in my mind within this video. Whatever that comes up to my mind, I'm just sharing it. Because this sharing might be positively impactful for someone, even if it's just for one person. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell stays in a car by the ocean by himself and just keep talking? You know what I mean? Like, that's a crazy person. That's not an ordinary person. That's like a total different human being, however you want to call it. I always try to be an extraordinary person that could positively impact others, because we all could be ordinary people, but if we put in a little bit more effort, if we take in a little bit more faith, if we take in a little bit more wisdom, cultivate wisdom, if we analyze certain things in life, we could come into realizations where it's so meaningful, and we don't just go live life moment to moment, go with the flow type of thing, but we live it. We still go with the flow, but we do it with purpose. We do it. Every breath, every step forward, is with intention, with positive intention to make the world better for our young kids that's coming up, our young ones, and uplift the consciousness to a point where, it's not functioning so much with greed, hate, or delusion. Because if you look at the world right now, all these people, wars going on, all these issues, social, economic issues happening, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be there, regardless. Even after you die, it's gonna be there. However, if we could impact the people's mindset, our young ones' mindset, with the thoughts, with the building blocks of unconditional kindness, unconditional love, compassion, appreciative joy, equanimity, wisdom, they will see life and react to all these different challenges that comes with life with a different light, different mindset, different way of thinking. And this world could be a better place. This earth could be a better place, man. Earth could be a way better place than what we make it right now. Earth is like a heaven. But when we are allowing demons to rule our lives within, rule our mind, when we are allowing anger, hate, greed, jealousy, delusion to rule the way of thinking, our mindset, we are enabling a world full of negativity. And we could transform that. We have to not change it, but transform. Difference between change and transform. You could change something and it could change back, but when you transform it, it goes to a whole nother level. My phone overheated and I had to stop the recording. But anyways, within that conversation, let's go deep into learning about the building blocks of this mind, and how this mind within a blink of an eye constantly get created and destroyed. Like within a blink of an eye, hundreds of millions of times this mind get created and destroyed, and we don't see it. That's why we feel it. That's why we feel this experience as a constant experience within the stimulation, the matrix. Like we feel it as we are here experiencing this, and we are going through it, you know. And we will probably never be able to see this process of dependent origination happening within our mind in itself. But however, if you take the building blocks of the mind, which is called the dependent origination, and if you study it, if you explore it, if you contemplate on it, your wisdom will arise, and then you will be able to see the reality for what it is, and you'll be able to understand the universal truth behind how the mind arises and passes away, and how this entire process creates life, and life in itself, and having the identity view, and even the entire existence. It comes with a package of suffering, pain, stress, discontentness, or dissatisfaction. So that's I want to get into it. Let's see. All right, so you are here on earth, right? You're here on earth, or whatever you want to call it. You're here experiencing this human experience, whatever your way of being is. You're experiencing life, and within this experience called life, you get to be happy, but at the same time, that happy is so temporary. So when that happy, whatever that happy is for you, which is relative for every single one of us, when that goes away, you experience suffering, you experience pain, you experience stress, you experience dissatisfaction within this entire life experience. And that's the problem that we're having. That's the situation that is challenging. That is why we have to learn all these universal truths and see life in a different realm, different view, so that way we're able to exit this realm if we want to, unplug from the matrix if we want to. If you want to, you could unplug. If you don't want to, you could stay in it. But the information that you're receiving right now through this video is very rare. It's not everybody could understand it. Not everybody could get it, even if they hear it, you know, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But I still have to share it. So if there is somebody who could understand this and unplug from this matrix, from this simulation, let's get it done. And at the least, Even if we don't unplug from the matrix, why not uplift our mind to a certain level of consciousness, of a way of being, where we are living life with purpose, we're living life inspiring others, and we're living life filled with unconditional kindness, unconditional love, unconditional compassion, wisdom, equanimity, appreciative joy, patience, understanding, and all these great things that can make a positive impact on the world, in the world that we live in. So that's being said, that going back to dependent origination, let's start from there. There's 12 parts of this, and this dependent origination was taught to the world by the Supreme Buddha. Like, we're in the dispensation of the Gautama Buddha, and I'm not trying to make this religious thing or anything like that, because this information, this knowledge and the teaching is for everybody. You could be Muslim, you could be Christian, you could be Catholic, you could be Jewish, you could be Buddhist, you could be atheist. If you could understand how our mind works and the building blocks of the mind, then you could suffer less, because you realize this is just the process of how the mind works, right? So there's 12 links to the dependent origination, and a lot of people start from the top and go to the bottom, but I'm going to start from the bottom and go to the top, and top to the bottom. And my phone hopefully won't shut off, and I'll be able to share this with you guys. So let's start at the bottom. Truth number 1: there's suffering that exists. This is the noble truth, the universal truth number 1. Suffering, pain, stress, discomfort, like dissatisfaction exists. Discontentness exists in this creation, exists in this life. And that's why we're exploring these information, so we could find a way out of that stress. We could find a way out of that dissatisfaction, suffering, pain, whatever that you are going through and experiencing. And we experience this stress, this suffering in our own unique ways. And sometimes we are not able to understand how somebody else is experiencing that, but we sure know it's not fun, So I had my share of all that suffering, so I'm just sharing this with you guys. So let's think about why do we have to experience all this suffering, all this dissatisfaction? And it's because we were born. You are born. You were born to this world as a human being right now. Or maybe if somebody else is listening, it might be a divine being, a demon, a ghost, a spiritual being, whatever way of being that you are right now. You are existing, you are here. You are born as such, right? Therefore, you experience this dissatisfaction and suffering, pain, stress, and all this crap. Simply said. And then if you go deeper and deeper and look into why you were born, like, why was I born? And then we come to an understanding, according to what the Buddha explains, is that we were born because we want to exist. We have a craving to exist. We have a craving to exist as human beings. We have a craving to exist in heavens as divine beings. We have a craving deep inside to exist in the spiritual realms as spiritual beings. We have a craving to exist with God. We have a craving to exist with the evil one, or the devil, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just relating to different people, right? We have a craving to exist with our families, our loved ones, and after death, which is given, or which could be any moment. Death is not we don't know when the death's gonna come, but we sure know it is coming. But within that conversation, like, we don't know when all this is gonna happen. We're gonna die, but like, we crave to exist. We want to exist. No matter how much suffering we endure, we go through, we want to exist in this world, right? That's a deep craving. So because we want to exist, craving to exist, you are born. So it's kind of like asking God, like, hey, God, I want to exist. I don't want to be one with you. I want to exist and experience life, creation, whatever you want to call it, this thing. Matrix, the simulation, now therefore you exist. You exist means you have to be born as something. As a human being, as a divine being, a spiritual being, a demon, ghost, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Or even that non-existence in the realm of the other side. Everything that exists, everything, nothing, everything, nothing, everything. Within the realm of existence, all these realms, I think 31 different realms of existence. And then within this side, there's nothing, which we can't even comprehend. So, but what I'm talking about is when you understand this whole matrix and the building blocks of the mind, you are able to unplug and not be in the realm of nothing or everything, just completely extinct. Normal mind, the mind is gone. Does not have a cause to be react and be born again. Okay, within the dependent origination, right? So so going back to breaking this down, I'm going really fast because I want to make sure I keep you guys focused, and then at the same time my phone might die. So within all of that, I'm just going as fast as I can. Maybe later on we could have a conversation where we could go at our own flow and kind of explore all these things I shared on this video. So there's suffering, there's stress, all this stuff. Because why? Because you crave to exist, and because you were born, you have suffering and all these things because you were born. And because you were born, you experience all these things. Why were you born? Because you crave to exist. And then we go beyond that. We are like, why do we crave to exist? We crave to exist because we have a craving for something. We have craving, greed deep within us. What is this craving for? What is this greed for? Some kind of craving, or in Pali they say tanha. Like, because we crave to exist. And because we crave to exist, we are born. And because we are born, we go through all this suffering, all this dissatisfaction, all this discontentness, all this stress, all this pain, all these birth, aging, sickness, death, all sorts of ways of dissatisfaction, suffering, stress. And we do experience happiness, but if you calculate the temporary amounts of happiness that we experience, the time, and the amount of time that we experience suffering is like right here, and amount of happiness experiences is like astronomically below, the levels of suffering that we have even thus far experienced in this life. So we have this suffering because we were born. We were born because we crave to exist. We crave to exist because we have a craving for something. And what do we crave for? We crave for feelings. Feelings of good, feelings of happiness. All these feelings we are craving. Feeling to be with, to be loved, feeling of being inspired, all sorts of feelings, man. Good feelings we are so attached to. We crave for those feelings. We are going after, constantly looking to be happy, so we could experience that feeling. That's why that's what we crave, that feeling, that good feeling. But the crazy thing about feeling is there's good feeling, bad feeling, and neither good or bad feeling. So like when we don't experience good or bad feelings, it's like neutral feeling, like neither good or bad. But when we experience the opposite of a good feeling, that's a bad feeling. That's all because we're craving that good feeling. So because we are attached to these feelings, we crave these feelings. And because we crave these feelings, we crave an existence that gives us these feelings. And because we crave to exist, we are born. We are born. And because we are born, we experience all these suffering. And we will eventually go into details of why we are born as humans, why we are born as divine beings, why we are born as spiritual beings, demons, ghost realms, spirits, whatever you want to call it. How come, what governs that? And in short, it's the karma. It's the positive and negative energy you accumulate throughout your entire existence. It's what results in the next birth. And it's very complicated, and it's advised not to go into deep study, because you will never finish studying that kind of context, right? That kind of world, because we don't have enough life left within us as human beings to complete studying that kind of subject. So anyways, going back to the dependent origination, we stop that feeling, because we are craving these feelings. And if you go deep into why did we crave these feelings, why did we crave these feelings? It's because of contact. We were in contact with the world. Okay, this is the crazy part. Somehow, some way, we are in contact with the world that gives us these feelings. We are in contact with this world that gives us these feelings. Because you are in contact with the world, with the entire matrix, you're plugged in. You're plugged in, and you're in contact with the world that gives you these feelings of good, bad, and neither good or bad. You crave the good feelings, right? You crave it. You crave these feelings, and then because you crave these feelings, you have craving. And because you have craving, you crave these feelings, you have a craving also to exist. You want to exist, to crave these feelings. And because you crave to exist, you come into existence. You create existence on your own. Like literally, like we don't know if the chicken or the egg came first, maybe the chicken, but like if you think about it, like let's not go there and like go into like forms of arguments of like what came first or whatnot, but the true reality of the fact is that we are here and we are suffering. So let's figure out how to get out of suffering, right? Let's not figure out who put us here or why we came here. But what we do know is we are suffering and we are going through stress. We are experiencing dissatisfaction. So this information is shared with you so you could be free from suffering. That's my intention. So going back, right? Going back into the deep conversation of dependent origination, we crave to exist. That's why we are born and as whatever we are born as, like right now as human beings. And then we experience life. And within this experience, there's so much of stress, so much of suffering, so much of pain, so much of discontentness and dissatisfaction. So, pulling it back again, we have discomfort, dissatisfaction, suffering, pain. Why? Because we were born. Why were we born? Because we crave to exist. Why did we crave to exist? Because we have some kind of craving. What did we have some kind of craving for? Feelings. We crave for feelings, good feelings. Some people crave for bad feelings, neither good or bad. Like we have craving for feelings. And why did we have craving for feelings? It's because we have a craving for feelings because we were in contact with the world that gives us those feelings. And then how did we get in contact with the world, with the matrix, with the simulation, with like this, right? Why did we get in contact with this human experience, with this divine experience, with the spiritual experience, whatever you want to call it? Being, the way of being. How did we get in contact? Because we have a faculty. I'm not just talking about the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body. I'm not just talking about the body and the details of it, but we have faculty. Faculty of the eye, faculty of the ear, faculty of the nose, faculty of the tongue, faculty of the body, and then we also have the faculty of the mind. These are machines that continue to get that is created, right? These are machinery. It is a process of it's a process. It's within. You are processing the world through this body, through this temple. You are in touch with this world. You are in contact with this world. And you are able to perceive all these things and process it within your mind. And that's a faculty. There's a faculty for the eye, faculty for the ear, faculty for the nose, tongue, and the body. So, for example, for the eye, if you have your flesh eye, it doesn't work just with the flesh eye. You have to have the eye, you have to have light and colors outside, some kind of objects outside, and then you have to have the eye consciousness, or your for the mind, for the eye. And when those three works together, you are able to enable the faculty of the eye and then process all these pictures and colors. Same goes to the nose, tongue, as respectively. For the nose, we smell. The tongue, we taste. For the ear, we hear waves of sound. So for the body, we feel some kind of feeling we get when we touch. We feel the touch. So all these different sensations we take in, we create, we have feelings for them. And we are craving those feelings that are good, bad, or neither good or bad. And then we generate this energy of craving. And because of craving, we crave to exist. Because all these feelings that we crave to exist. And because we crave to exist, we are born. Because we are born, we go through life. We go through this experience with happiness sometimes comes in, but it's a delusion. It's an illusion. It's not a delusion. It's an illusion, because all these feelings that we are craving, that we are born to experience, it just gives us the energy to come back, crave more, never to exist the vicious cycle that exists within this dependent origination cycle. So we're born, right? So now, how did we figure out this faculties of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body? How did that come to be? That came to be because of previous doings, right? Previous karma or previous energy that you have accumulated, generated, or accumulated in a way, right? Because of what in dependent origination language is called name and form. So there's the physical realm, there's the mental realm, there's the physical realm or the spiritual realm. So because of these, you reflect what your mind is processing. You reflect onto the world, your mind, anything that we see here on earth. It's a reflection of somebody's mental formations. So we could go deep into it. If you look at an airplane, it's in the physical realm. How did that arise? It arose in somebody's mind, and they thought about it, they figured it out, they were thinking, they experienced, and they created into reality. Same way, if you look at it, somebody created all of these things. It's a mental formation that came into existence, that reflected upon to the physical realm. So So if you look at it in a way, both the physical realm, if the physical realm arised from the mental formations, technically, name and form. Name is the mental formations, form is the physical formations. Both of these two things arise because of the consciousness, because of the mind. And how did the mind arise? Mind arise because of the volitional formations, or karma, or positive and positive thoughts, negative thoughts, positive words, negative words, positive actions, physical actions, negative physical actions. That generates, with intention, it generates karma, it generates energy. So because of that, because of all the previous karma you generated, with all the possible mental formations that you previously generated, depended upon that, caused this to generate. Right? So why did you create previous karma? Because you didn't know this process is happening. You didn't know the dependent origination. You didn't know the Four Noble Truths. Because you didn't know all of the things that I just explained, like the Four Noble Truths, dependent origination. Pretty much because of ignorance. Because of ignorance, you created karma. Because of karma, you created your mental formations, which in fact influence to create the reality, the physical realm. And because the mental realm and the physical realm, because of the mental formations and the physical formations together, working together, creates this eye faculty, nose faculty, tongue faculty, ear faculty, and the body faculty. And even because of that, you are able to get in touch with this world that we live in, that we call the world, the matrix, the simulation. And because you are now in touch with the simulation, you are generating all sorts of feelings for what you see and touch and hear and smell and feel. You're generating all these feelings towards the things you are getting in touch with. This entire matrix, you have feelings for it. You have deep feelings for it, and you're attached to it, and you crave it. You don't want God, you want that. And then what happens is you crave and you crave and you crave and you crave to exist, to experience more of these feelings, not realizing that it's not just the feelings of good that you're getting, you're also getting all these suffering and dissatisfaction. So because you crave to exist now, you create a birth for yourself based upon your karma, and you are born, and then you experience temporary moments of happiness, and the cycle continues with stress, with suffering, with discontentness, with pain, with losing people you love, with merging with people you don't like all sorts of suffering, death, sickness. It's all part of life. So I went super fast, but that's pretty much what I wanted to explore with you guys today. I have to go to the restroom, take a piss. But anyways, I love you guys. Be well and happy. Please give me your feedback. I would love some comments and to know what you guys think of this. Let's get out of the identity view and step into the unconditional frequency, vibration of unconditional kindness, love, compassion, appreciative joy, equanimity, wisdom, understanding, patience, and all that good stuff, so this world could be a better place, so we could think beyond greed, hate, and delusion, and with a different mindset, with a transformed mindset of love and compassion. For the world that we live in, to create transformation within the system that we live in here in the world on earth, I have created 2 different organizations. One is called RavanaX.org, where we are coming together within a platform to make a difference, and also to fight the current economic system that is in place to keep us indirect slaves to the system, and to break out of it within our own private economy, with our own gem system. It's a point reward system where you own all your Web3 data, and you're making a big impact within other people's lives and generating income, additional income to what you're already doing on the side. And then I have created another organization called InspireCompassion.org, where it's a nonprofit base. RavanaX is a profit base, but there's another part of it, which is InspireCompassion.org, which is the nonprofit side, where through the nonprofit and working with other nonprofits and individuals and organizations, we impact the world in a positive way, and literally inspire compassion to the world. So let's make it happen. I love you guys. Be well and happy, and I'm glad I was able to sum it up and put all this information out there before my last moments. You know, I don't know when I'm gonna die, when I have to leave Earth, so I have to record this and give it to you guys. If you think this video was valuable and it added something to your life, some clarity, you got a missing puzzle piece for your puzzle, for your human experience, if you think it's good for somebody else to hear this, please share it. And then if you guys have any questions, let me know, and hopefully we could all get together in the future and, you know, have a conversation. But December 22nd, 2025, we are planning to have the pre-launch of RavanaX.org, and we are planning to do that. And also, not sure where the event's going to be, but I'll let you guys know. But definitely it's going to be a virtual event. We're planning to have a physical event, just don't know where it is going to be. But let's get together and change this freaking world, transform it for the future generations, man. That's all. I hope I inspired you to live a purposeful life and cultivate that unconditional light within you out of this darkness, you know, darkness to light. Cultivate that unconditional love, compassion, kindness, appreciative joy, equanimity, wisdom, patience, understanding, all that good stuff. And enjoy your day and have a blessed one. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. And thank you for taking the time to watch this. All right. Peace.